Hi, this video is going to be about two basic types of emotional reactivity that people have. And by looking at these types of reactivity and looking at how they express through you, you might get an understanding of the work that you might want to do to clear it and an understanding of the basic theme. So the two types of reactivity, let's call them contractive, contraction, and then there's explosive reactivity. So contractive, if that's a word, and explosive reactivity. So think of it, in terms of explosive reactivity, we all know about fight or flight. Fight or flight are two different options when we feel threatened. We can fight or we can run away. And these are reptilian brain responses. And most people really only think about fight or flight. Those are the explosive ones. But the contractive ones are to freeze or collapse. So, think of it like somebody criticizes you. Do you need to run away? Do you have the feeling like you need to just run? You need to get out of there? Do you have the feeling that you need to fight back? Do you just kind of freeze and take it and wait for it to be over? Or do you collapse? I don't mean physically collapse on the ground, but like lose energy. And the freeze and collapse are kind of like, they're kind of like playing dead. Okay? So, a good example of contractive reactivity would be shame, guilt, the fear that freezes you, not all the fear, but half of the fear, shyness, even perfectionism, although that can also be explosive because it can lead to overactivity. But so let's take shame, for example. It's something that I think is at the core of the healing process for most people. We all have some kind of core shame because we were all little kids and we were ashamed of ourselves for not being able to do what bigger kids or adults were able to do. And I remember one time I was playing some game with adults and, it was like Jeopardy at home or something like that. And the answer, or the question, in Jeopardy, was, who is Tito? I bet a lot of you people don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Who was Tito? Now, this was when I was like 8 years old, 7 years old. And the fact that I didn't know the answer to the question or the question to the answer, I was going into deep shame, and all the adults around were like, hey, kid, how the hell are you supposed to know who Tito is? You're 7 years old, But it's that shame. It's that, I'm not good enough, and I don't want people to see how inadequate I am. And it causes this contraction, this freeze, this pulling in. And it's a pattern that literally can get imprinted into your muscles, your skeletal system after a while, your organs. Like all emotional reactivity, over time, when not healed, it will become physical illness. So shame is a way that we contract. Now, some people might feel shame and they lash out in anger. That would be different, right? But it's good to track these things. Track within yourself, especially if you're coming to me or going to another healer. if you can kind of have a list of like, okay, well, I have this contractive shame, but I have this explosive anger, and I have this this shyness that makes me collapse, and what, you know, that would definitely give us a shortcut to your healing. But all of the contractive stuff is a self-protection that is in that freeze, collapse mode. And then we have the anger and the fear and the self-justification that can be explosive reactivity. That is the fight and the flight, right? Because flight, running away, is also an explosive outburst of energy. It's very different than freezing and collapsing, right? If you're running, it's an energized thing. And the thing is, if you have to pick, I would say the explosive reactivity is going to get you in the most trouble, but it's also going to kind of clear itself out more. Whereas the contractive reactivity is going to pull into the center of your being, and it's going to be more toxic over time. So think of your reactive patterns and think of which ones are explosive or contractive. Which do you veer more towards? And what has that resulted in? Like for me, a lot of my contractive patterns have, on a physical level, led to weight gain. Because that's a kind of protective shield type of thing. And it's also the result of, you know, if I went into flight mode and ran 2 miles, you know, I burned some of it off. So these things they really translate into your life. And the issue is that people think these are just character traits that don't change, but they're not. They might seem like it because they've been there since childhood, but these tendencies are reactive patterns that can be healed through various types of therapy, definitely the energy healing and hypnosis work that I do. We go right to the core of them and we clear them out. Some of them take longer, some of them are pretty easy to clear. But anyway, those are the 2 types of reactivity. Something to ponder in your own healing journey. Thanks so much for watching. If you'd like more information on what I do, please subscribe and hit the bell for this channel, and you'll be notified of when more videos come up. And also check out my website, andysway.com, andysway.com. If you're in the LA area, I can see you in person, and if you're farther away, I do phone sessions. So check out my offerings on andysway.com. Love to talk to you. Thanks. Bye.